Hello everyone and welcome to our project presentation for our Interactive Development 200 Term 2 project. This is our group. First we have Kayla.
Hi, I'm Kayla Posthumus, and my fun fact is that I used to play classical guitar in high school.
Hi, I'm Iné Smith, and my fun fact is that I grew up on a farm in Northwest and went to school with only 5 children in grade 7.
Hi, I'm Frederick Beytell. My fun fact is I ride a motorcycle and am a secret metalhead, but I'm about as quiet, calm and collected as you can be.
And my name is Wolf, and my fun fact is that I've done a DNA test and found that I'm 5% of Middle Eastern descent.
Okay, I'll get us started off with a project introduction. So we designed Exhibito, which is a web service that serves as a dynamic platform where art houses can post and manage their exhibition events. This project was built on the foundation of a MERN stack and implements technologies like Axios and Reactor Router as well. We were also supposed to place a heavy emphasis on security and encryption and decryption of data and perform user validation for sign-in rules and stuff. And we were also supposed to implement user roles, which in our case include the standard user, moderators, and different art houses. Now, the tech stack, we of course used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as all websites do. HTML mostly for the structure and the content of the site itself, CSS for basic styling of those HTML elements, and then JavaScript to implement interactivity and functionality. Then we also implemented the MERN. We used the MERN stack, which consists of MongoDB, Express.js, React, and Node.js. MongoDB is software for handling databases online, which we use to store all the necessary data for our site's bookings and things like that. Express is a web application framework. It provides a robust set of features for web and mobile applications. It's mostly used for building the back end of the application and for handling HTTP requests. We also used React, which is a front-end library that is used for building user interfaces, and you use it to create reusable UI components and efficiently update and render them. And then lastly, Node.js, which is a JavaScript runtime environment. It allows us as developers to run JavaScript code on the server side. And then other technologies, which are the smaller parts, we use Tailwind CSS, which is a framework for styling as well. We used Axios, which is an HTTP client that we use to make API requests, which is how we get our data from the database. And then we use the Reactor Router, which enables the creation of a single-page application with dynamic routing, and where you don't have to reload the entire page every time you want to go to a different part of the website.
So the project's purpose is to develop a dynamic and user-friendly web application using the MERN stack, aiming to completely transform how people discover, explore, and purchase art exhibitions. By bridging the gap between art enthusiasts and exhibitions, our platform will provide an intuitive digital solution where users can effortlessly browse, comment on, and purchase tickets for art exhibitions. Additionally, galleries and art hosts will be empowered to manage and publish exhibitions with ease, showcasing the effectiveness of contemporary web development tools in creating significant digital solutions. Our project required developing a full-featured web application using the MERN stack to manage other accounts, art exhibitions, and ticket purchases. Key requirements included user authentication, secure data storage, seamless front-end, back-end communication, and an intuitive user interface. Users can browse, purchase tickets, and comment on exhibitions, while art houses can publish and manage their events. To meet these requirements, we implemented secure user authentication, designed our user-friendly interfaces for browsing, purchasing, and adding events, and ensured smooth data operations. Our application is responsive and accessible across devices, fulfilling the brief's expectations and delivering a platform that effectively connects art lovers with exhibitions.
We have 3 user types that would be able to access this application. So firstly, it's the standard user, which is the arts enthusiasts, the art buyers, and the individuals who would wish to book or attend the art exhibitions. Then we have the art houses, which their employees are able to access the application. They are associated with a specific art house ID, and they can manage events for their respective art house, like creating a new event. And then we also have the administrators who have full control over the platform and its data. So then the website functionality, as you can see in the image, there's different interactions between the different users and then the events and the comments. Each user can book events that are hosted by the different art houses, with events containing details like the title, data, and ticket info. The bookings are tracked using the date and ticket count, and then users can comment on events, with each comment linked to a specific event and user. This ensures seamless information flow between the users, events, houses, bookings, and comments. So there's different data interactions, starting with the users and the houses. So each house user is linked to a specific art house via an art house ID. This association allows house users to manage events for their respective art houses. The admins and standard users have no application to the art house IDs. You have the houses and the events. Events are linked to a specific art house via an art house ID. This relationship ensures that each event is associated with that house that hosts it. House users manage these events, and they can create events for their art house. Users and bookings. So the standard user can make bookings for events. Each booking record in the bookings table include a user ID to link the booking to the user and an event ID to link it to the event. The bookings are recorded with details such as the event title and the booking date. The events and comments. So events can have multiple comments associated with them. The comments table records each comment with a reference to the event ID. This allows users to engage with the events by sharing feedback and discussions. And then the users and the comments. So the users can post comments on events. Each comment in the comments table include a user ID to link it to the user, as well as an event ID to link it to the event. The comments include details such as the text of the comments, the date, and the time of posting.
And then some of the challenges and solutions that we have come up with these challenges, firstly being asynchronous operations, was quite difficult to handle a lot of asynchronous functions like getting events or the usernames from the database, especially when you want to populate the data into the website itself. But we used async await syntax and a try and catch blocks to handle different errors. And we also implemented loading states whilst the data is being retrieved from the database. Then also the database itself had to be designed with a specific schema so that it would handle all the different interactions that Kayla just mentioned. And we used MongoDB and specifically a VS Code extension that really made understanding and setting up the interactions and the data itself a lot easier by viewing it in the VS Code IDE itself. Then we also were struggling quite a bit with responsive design to ensure with all our visual elements that it works on different screen sizes and is still accessible. We used a combination of CSS classes, React and Bootstrap, and Tailwind CSS to just expedite the process, make it easier and more efficient. We're going to start with explaining 4 pieces of code. I will be discussing how we populated the list of upcoming events from MongoDB. Firstly, you can see we have states, event states and default all states. This is where our information would be stored. The events is just the events in general, and default all events is the original order, and this will be used for when we reset filters and it has to return to its original order again. First, when the page loads or mounts, we call the fetch approved events function, and this fetches all of the different events on the Mongo database which have specifically the approved status, because these had to be approved by the admin in order to show up on this list. And then we set these variables we get from them to the default all events as well as the event states itself. And then the events array is taken and we map over each of the event card components with the different properties of each object in that array. And that is essentially used to generate the event cards dynamically. And when there are no events, you can see there's events.length, is less than 0. When there is less than 0, in other words, the filters are too strict, there would be a no events match your filters message being displayed and a button to reset them.
I'm going to be explaining event handlers. In this case, the event handler for when you click a button. In this function itself, it accepts props as an argument, which it gets from the parent that called the function. Then onClick equals props.onClick assigns the event handler to the button itself. Class name we set, and that applies extra CSS styling for the button. When type equals props.type is we set the button type to the one that got passed from the parent to this one along with the props argument. And then props.label is the text that also came from the parent to this function with a props argument. And then the user sign-in process. So this code snippet handles the user sign-in process. It sends the login credentials to the server. It stores the token that it receives. It decodes it to get the user role and then sets a success message and redirects the user based on the role that it determined. So Axios sends a post request to the server at the specified URL with the user's email and password, and then it awaits its execution until the server responds. The response object that it receives from the server response.data.token extracts the token from the response data, and then session storage.setItem token as the token is simply us storing the token in the session storage, making it accessible for the entire duration of a session. Then JWT decode token is for decoding the JWT token, which stands for JavaScript web token. When it has that, it can extract its payload, which contains user information. And then the variable user rule equals decoded token dot user type basically takes the user type from the decoded token that we just determined. Set message is a state updater function that sets a message indicating that the user has logged in successfully. The conditional block at the bottom checks the user's rules and users navigate to redirect them to the appropriate page, whether that be admin, user, or house. And then the catch block at the bottom captures any errors that occur during this login process and then sets the message invalid email or password, which will then show up like Wolf said in the previous sign-in process.
So I'm going to explain what happens when you add an event to your cart. So first, this is the visual representation. So obviously, step one, you will be interested in an event and wanting to add it to your cart. Then you just click on the add to cart button. Then a modal will pop up that just tells you that the ticket has been successfully added to your cart, and you can choose to either keep on browsing and add more events, or you can go to your cart and view what's in it. So then in step 3, if you clicked on view cart, then all the tickets that you have booked or added to your cart will appear on this page with the total costs. By clicking the add to cart button initially, a modal will open. So the modal is designed to inform users that an event has been successfully added to their cart and to prompt them to either view their cart or complete the action. So this piece of code demonstrates the use of the useEffect hook and an asynchronous function, fetch cart tickets, to retrieve and manage the cart tickets for a logged in user. Decode token extracts the user ID, which is the user that is logged in, and then it maps over the tickets to fetch details from each event using their event ID. Underneath that, we used promise.all to resolve all event detail promises and sets the events in the state using setCart event. The event detail is reduced to calculate the total costs of the tickets in the cart and then set the total cost in the state using setTotalCost.
I'm going to be explaining how we create a new comment. So firstly, I added how you can populate the different comments, but due to time constrictions, I'm not able to do that. Creating a new comment. So first we create a new state variable. So in there we add the event ID, which is retrieved from the event info page that it is on. We create the user ID text, is it flagged, created date, and the created time. So after this variable is created, we go on to fetch the user data and setting state. So when the page loads and the event ID changes, the user data is fetched and stored in the user state variable. Then you move on to creating the new comment function. So the create comment function constructs the new comment data and sends it to the backend using the add new comment service function. From there, you pass the props to the new comment component. The new comment component is used to render the UI for adding a new comment. The create comment function, new comment state, and the set new comment setter function are passed as props. The new comment component handles the form input and updates the new comment state as the user types in their comment. It calls the create comment when the post review button is clicked, or after you've clicked the post review button, the refresh comments function is also called, where the state is toggled to trigger the refetching of the comments in the comments card component.
We're now going to move on to a live demonstration and a walkthrough of our Exhibito website, where we'll highlight the features and the functionalities. Alright, so when you open the website, you are greeted with the login page. You can also click on the sign up here if you would like to swap between the two. But I just want to show we've also implemented form validation. When there's nothing in there, it says please fill in this field. And lastly, I want to show an extra feature we've added was responsive design. So our whole website is completely responsive and features works on different screen sizes. So let's first log in as our standard user, which would be tsungai@gmail.com, and his password is Liverpool. If we try and log in, that's obviously not correct because he would never have Liverpool as a password. But we have form validation again. So let's just type in Manchester as such. And there we go. Now we are greeted on the homepage. This is what the standard user would see. We have some details on the art houses, some highlighted featured events, and this nice hero image here at the top. So let's go and browse and look at all of the different events. You can see all of the exhibitions are listed here, and we have a filtering section here on the side. So if we say, for example, a minimum of 200 Rand and we apply that, you can see all of these are at least 200. We can apply multiple filters at the same time. So let's do all of them in Gauteng, also still 200 Rand. And there we go, we have these 3 events. You can also do sorting, which is additional feature we've added by price, ascending or descending, also for date and seats available. So if you are done, you can simply click on clear, and you can also clear all the filters and everything would return to normal. Another additional feature we've added was when filters that are too strict and it would appear that there is no events that match that filter, it would be indicated and we have a nice clear filters button right there for convenience. So let's say someone is interested in one of these events and they can simply click on one of them, and then we are greeted with the individual events page. So we have an image, the information about that event, and some of the comments and things. So let me just go to one where there are actual comments like this one. And here you can see the previous comments other people have left. If we want to flag a comment, we can simply click on this flag button, and then it would be removed and moved to the administrator flag comment section, which we'll get to later. But now let's say this person would like to leave a comment, and we'll say, this is a test comment. And we click on post review, and there we go. You can see the username is there. This is another additional feature we've added as well, is the exact time and date that this comment has happened. So if we would like to add this event now to our cart, we can simply click here on add cart, and there we have the modal that says we have added it successfully. I'm just going to add 2 other ones just so we have multiple in our cart. Let's add pure form as well, add to cart, and then let's click on here and say view cart. So now you see on the cart we have the 3 different events we have added to our cart. You can simply remove one if you'd like by clicking on this button, and everything updates. You'll see there's also a total here of the total cost of our cart. And if we would like to book these now, because these are only in our carts page, we haven't technically paid for them, you can click on this book events page, and there we get a modal that it has been successful. Also want to show another additional feature we've added is again this empty cart page when there's nothing in the cart. But let us go to our profile page for Tsungai. Here we have the details again. Here's a logout button, and these are the booked events. Again, you can cancel both of these, and we have dynamic change when there are no booked events. But let's log out and let's this time move over to the sign up process. So we're gonna sign up as an art house this time, our second user type. So let's start with David Beckham is our user. And we would say he works at Studios or Spectrum Studios Art House. Let's just give him a cell phone number. I just want to make sure it's something new. Then we select he's an Art House employee and he's part of Spectrum Studios. We're going to give him a password as such, and then we click on sign up. It's interesting here because this user already exists, so we would have to choose someone else. So let's just say Dave, let's just call this person Max at, let's give it a different one, Galleria, and then I'm just going to say Max Beckham, his brother. So you say sign up, and there we go, it has been successful. There are a few differences, as you can see on the home page for a house. Specifically, you can see there's a house button up here that differentiates it. Also, when you go to a specific page event, there is no add to cart button because houses can't add events to their cart, but they can still leave comments if they wish to do so. So let's say the house would like to add a new event. They can do so by clicking on this new button that has appeared up here in the navigation bar, and a new modal will pop up. So let's call this Tsungai's Extravaganza, and we'll say this is Tsungai's event description. The province, we can choose anything. Let's say Northern West. And let's click on next. Now we have to also enter the starting dates. Let's say it starts tomorrow until the 16th. Enter a starting time and a end time. The price can be 100 Rand, and let's say there's a maximum of 50 seats. Then you also have to add a thumbnail URL. This would be the picture. I just have a URL ready with a Manchester United picture, and then we click on submit. And now this event has been created. But when you actually go to the upcoming page, you'll see it is not here listed yet because this new event is still it still requires moderation from the administrators. So let's go to the administrator this time. Let's log out and let's log in with admin@exhibito.com. Password is admin, and then we say login. So here we go, we're on the administrator page. Here you can see there is that event that we have just created, and we can either approve or decline this, and the client will remove it from the admin dashboard. And we click on approve. Now it has been added, and we'll go back now in a sec, but you'll also see here are some flag comments which work in the same way. You can either delete a comment if it has offensive material in it, or here's that other comment we did previously, we can mark that as safe. So now when we finally move out, here's again a different profile page for the administrator. We can log out, and let's just log back in as Tsungai with the password Manchester, log in. And now when we go to upcoming page and we scroll all the way down, here you can see is that event that has been created with the correct details. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the presentation.